everybody and welcome to the Flute Practice. Today we are going to be looking at a skill that could potentially change your sound instantly. It's one of my kind of wonder cures for sound, breathing and support, and that is singing and playing. So let's go check it out. This is one of those things that we play maybe like 2 times in a year, but it is such an important skill for us to practice and use because it can be so beneficial for our playing. So what I'm going to recommend you guys do is I'm going to recommend you pause this video, choose a nice melody that you really enjoy playing and play it once first. Maybe even record yourself playing it so you've got like a record of what you sound like, and just take note how you feel and so on and so forth. And then we're going to kind of go through this whole process, and at the end of this video I want you to play that same melody again, maybe record yourself again and listen back to how it sounds. I think you could be quite amazed. I'm going to start with the basics. So I'm going to start like, how do we learn to sing and play, kind of going through that, and then carrying on to more and more complex exercises. So I'm going to recommend that you pause the video on each of these exercises. Make sure you can do the exercise before you move on. Not saying you can't watch all the rest of the exercises, but take note where it's kind of, you've hit your limit. You're like, this I need to practice. Each of these exercises you could probably work on for like a week, maybe even 2 weeks, depending where you're at. So don't put too much pressure on yourself here. Remember, this is really about the journey and having fun. I know that sounds really cheesy, but it is. And it's about really growing in this area and growing in your sound. That's the real thing here. Now, the easiest thing I find is just first getting a note that you feel really comfortable playing. So for me, that's often kind of around a G or a B, somewhere there. I'm going to go with G. So I'm first going to just play the note. La, and then I'm going to find the note with my voice. La, la, and now what I did was I sang the note and then I let my embouchure just form the note until I get that nice singing and playing. Quite important here is to kind of focus more on the voice. I find sometimes the problem is when we start kind of forming the embouchure is we lose the voice because we're so focused on the embouchure. So sometimes it's really good for us just to focus only on the voice, just really finding and keeping this, holding onto this, and allowing the lips to form the embouchure independently and do its thing. This is really, for me, one of the big things about singing and playing, and we're going to get more into this in a moment. It's really about allowing the throat and the voice and the lips to become independent entities, that they're not just like blindly following each other, but that they're actually doing their own thing. So the next thing you want to do once you kind of get the note and the voice going at the same time, is you want to start moving around. So you want to start going maybe up or down, whatever it might be, maybe even just moving between 2 notes for now. So you might want to start still with the la, and keeping it going. Now guys, before we kind of get into more of these exercises, I just want to caution us, because it is really important. And that is, be gentle with your voices. Don't try to sing too loudly, especially if you're not used to using your voice. Rather try and keep the voice a little bit softer. And don't strain the voice. Whatever happens, if you feel like you're straining your voice, just give it a break. Come back to it in a little while. Just give your voice a rest. So please, guys, take care of your voices here. A little note on pitch matching here. It's possibly going to take a little while for you to get used to the feeling of having the voice and the flute playing or singing the exact same note. Sometimes people can't kind of find or pitch the note properly, and this is a process and it just takes some time. So I really want to encourage you to give yourself the time to just find this and really just but at the same time also kind of remember this is a process and you will get there. So if you're really not getting it, you can go on to some of these other exercises and just have some fun with them so long, knowing this will get better. Once you're getting comfortable with that, moving the voice and the flute and kind of getting the pitches, we're now going to move on to doing something a little more challenging. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep the note stable. So we're just going to play a G and we're only going to move the voice. This is the first step. Now we're going to do the opposite of that, and this is the bigger challenge I find. We are going to hold the note and move the fingers and let the voice not go with the notes. So we're going to get the G. Once again, at this stage, it really helps to focus on the voice and not let that voice go up with the notes. It's going to want to, and you're going to see how connected your voice and your embouchure are. It's amazing, actually, when you start doing this. It feels like using the left and the right hand, or doing the patting and the, spinning thing. You know what I'm talking about. So next step we can do is we can start to move the voice and the fingers in opposite directions. So because we've been singing A, B, and G, I'm going to just stick with that for now. So La are my singing notes, and I'm going to move my fingers down. So and we can keep going like that. It is a really lovely little challenge for us to do. The next step is to kind of play larger intervals with the voice and singing and playing. So maybe doing thirds. That sort of thing. You can play nice arpeggios. You can even do bigger intervals. So maybe I'm going to try the fifth. Or even the octave. Quite a lot of fun. Now we're going to do another little exercise that I think is so great for learning how to get into the second octave of the flute without using your throat or getting your throat too involved, but rather really just using the embouchure and the nice support. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold that low G, and we're not going to move the voice, and we're going to let the lips find the higher notes. We're going to start, just go to the B, just to make it easy. So and now go to the D as well. And then up to the octave. This is a real challenge because the voice is going to want to go along with those notes. It's so great, and it forces you to really find the position with the lips for that airstream, to close them a little bit and really let these guys do the work. Very nice exercise. So spend some time on this guy. Really, it's a wonderful one. Just a little side note here. What I really love about singing and playing is that it really helps us to kind of develop constant air support and a constant airstream. And actually can be very helpful for those of you who are struggling to play longer phrases or hold your breath. This is so great because it really forces us to kind of use the natural body's ability to sing, which I think most of us can do fairly well. We are now going to start doing things like singing in different intervals. For example, in thirds, we could try. So we play the G, find the voice for the B. That kind of thing. Really, once again, I'm going to encourage you, spend some time on this before we get to the next thing, because the next thing is where we just completely lose all sense of a reason and we go a little bit crazy. Now the fun and games really start. And we're going to start doing things like playing and singing in rounds. So we're going to start very simple little melodies, whatever you kind of know a good round. I'm going to do Frère Jacques. It's just a good old classic. So we're playing, and then we're going to make the voice and the flute do different things. So we're going to go. So cool. And it's like your brain is like breaking in between, because it's like trying to figure out how do I do this? So it takes practice. I've practiced that longer than I'd like to admit. And it takes some practice and some work, and I do it like section by section. But the better you get at those other exercises, the easier this little guy is going to be. And then you can also do things like singing and playing in harmonies, or like, for example, I have like a lot of the beginner tutorial books, they have like little duets for students and teachers, and I've played the accompanying parts of those 100 times, probably in a day. And I know them really, really, really well. So it's really nice to actually like sing and play those accompaniments and just really challenge myself in between. So for example, very classic beginner melody. I think it's like called Au clair de la lune in like a million books. But to try and sing the accompanying part, feel like as I'm playing, my eyebrows are like sit, 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 sit. I don't know if they're doing that. Once again, I've had some fun practicing that. So it's just an idea, guys. This is not like you must be able to do that right now, right away. That's not it. Really, I want to encourage you guys to have fun with this. This is such a cool skill to play with and work with. And it's, you know, it's not about being able to do it like 100% tomorrow in a piece or whatever. You know, so many of us, we think, oh, I'm bad at it. I can't sing and play, so I'm just going to forget about it. I want to encourage you guys, if you're bad at it, especially if you are, go and have fun with the skill. Anyway, you know what? It's teaching you so much more than how to sing and play. We're going to play in a moment that melody again. And hopefully you'll hear a little bit how it opens up the sound. It helps us with breathing and support and really getting a sense of that. It is such a cool skill. With that, I'm going to try and play a little melody again and see how it sounds. It's like magic every time. Magic. All right, everybody, that was a little bit of fun and games with singing and playing on this bright and beautiful day. I'm going to encourage you guys to like and share this video if you found it useful. And also subscribe to my channel. You can click the gray notification button there so you know when new videos are coming out. Happy practicing, everybody, and see you next time.